here doing our 1 year carniversary video. On March 20th, 2024, we went carnivore and we haven't looked back since. So we kind of wanted to just talk a little bit about what the last year has been like and what kind of changes we've seen in our health and what we think was the hardest of this past year and what was the easiest, and going forward, what we may or may not change. So, I guess having said that, do you want to start with your health and where
Sure,
you were a year ago to where you are now?
sure. Aloha and good morning. My wife says I should really stop saying aloha because I sound like a tourist, but and I am Hawaii. Um, I'm Nathan, Renee's husband. We've been married coming up on 11 years and
12 years.
12 years. And after pretty much as many diets as years, I have to say that I feel best on this current lifestyle. When we started a year ago, I was 212 pounds, taking metformin, type 2 diabetic. I work in an operating room, so I'm on my feet all day. My feet were killing me. Uh, Probably like from carrying the extra weight, I'm sure. I'm only 5'7", so at 212 pounds, I was morbidly obese for a 60-year-old man. I'll be 60 this year. Um, I can't even begin to explain the differences that I feel now. My feet no longer hurt. I'm still working in an OR. I did take some time off from the move. We moved from Hawaii to Arizona. So I haven't been working all of that time. Recently gone back to work, but my feet don't hurt anymore. Um, when I wake up in the morning, instead of my eyes opening and me coming in out with an expletive that starts with F and ends with K, I feel good. I'm ready to get up and start my day. No longer taking metformin. Type 2 diabetes gone. Down to 163. Now, granted, I have hit a stall. I am not. I'm not continually losing, but I'm not exercising either. At least as much as I could be. Recently, I've started walking. We've started walking. Renee is my cheerleader, and she's walking with me to keep me motivated and improve on her own health. Um, so I'm hoping that this stall will end. She has talked about going back to pretty much lying for 30 days to kind of get a reset. And if she decides to do that, I'll probably do it with her just because, yeah, it wouldn't hurt me to reset again. I've been doing mostly beef, occasional pork, not chicken. Chicken, even though it doesn't bother me, it makes Renee feel yuck and breaks her out in hives, so we don't do chicken. Dairy, I do cheese. I do raw cream in my tea, which they say you shouldn't drink, but I'm a firm believer in the 80-20 on who was it that does the primal bod?
Candy.
Candy. I'm a firm believer in Candy's mantra that you have to live also. So there may be things that I add. I've added in some certain spices, pepper and garlic powder in moderation. I don't do it on everything. It's only when I do something special, like maybe a brisket or sometimes I'll do tri-tip and I'll add seasonings to it. I'm still trying to find a good balance of seasonings. It's hard. There are so many dry rubs, which is my preference. I'm not really one for sauces too much. but it's hard to find dry rubs that don't have sugar in it.
Or seed oils.
Or yes, or seed oil, but dry rubs, they don't have any oils.
No, they have seed oils.
They have sunflower. Okay. Anyways, so it's hard to find something that's going to accent the taste and bring out the taste more. So it's a work in progress. And any of my fellow carnivores out there, if you have any ideas or go-tos, shoot them the ideas to Renee. I'm
in the
always
comments below.
Always open for suggestions, and always looking for recipes for like beef heart and beef tongue. We did half a cow, and I they're still frozen. I have not done them yet, but so I'm looking for recipes for that.
So, talking about health, I'm going to go back to health. And I know that I'm guessing that a lot of people watching this video have already seen my story, but if you haven't, it's out there in a million different places. I've interviewed with Dr. Baker and with Dr. Chafee and with Dave Mack and with Carrie Mann, and I'm missing people. There's a bunch out there, but I also have my story on my YouTube channel. So just really quick, how we got to where we were last year at this time. And I think that my health is probably the driving factor for all of the diets and everything that we've done in the last 12 years. So right after we got together back in 2011, during the time we got together, I was starting to have like severe nausea and vomiting and all kinds of stomach problems and digestion problems. And it took about a year to get diagnosed. And I was diagnosed with idiopathic gastroparesis, so autoimmune disease that caused my stomach not to move anymore. So when you eat, it goes like this to push the food down, and mine just wasn't moving. So I was hospitalized with malnutrition and dehydration, and that kind of started our yo-yo. Well, I was always a yo-yo dieter. I mean, let's be honest about that. But it started 10 years of looking for the right diet that I could handle and that I could eat. I am a nurse, and I've been a nurse since 2003. And I truly believed that there had to be some kind of diet that would help. So we went through all of the diets. We've done everything in the world. Fast forward to the fall of 2019, I was a weightlifter. I was getting up 6 mornings a week to work out before work, and sometimes before a 12-hour shift, that was like 4 o'clock in the morning. And we had been vegan for almost a year. Actually, it was over a year. We had just started eating a little bit of fish again. And we had done vegan because I watched a documentary, Forks Over Knives, and decided that vegan was the way to go, and that was the healthiest. And not only did we do vegan, we did whole food. We did whole food, plant-based, no fat. So we got rid of all the fat and went plant-based. So I thought that we were on this track for healthiness, and for the first time in my life, I wasn't drinking anything, and I wasn't smoking anything, and he wasn't smoking, and and maybe we should just go. So the day of November 13th, 2019, I got up and worked out in the morning, went to work, came home from work, and my fingers didn't work anymore. I couldn't peel any shrimp. It progressed into a really substantial left-sided weakness where I could barely walk. And then all of my extremities were really weak, and the pain started. And that happened in mid-November, and it wasn't until February that I got diagnosed with chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy, which is a subcategory of Guillain-Barré syndrome. It was awful. It was a total change in my life. I went from working 12-hour shifts as a nurse to not being able to do that. I was a nursing supervisor. I had been doing it for over a decade. It changed every part of my life. And unfortunately, I had to navigate starting treatment with the beginning of the pandemic. And at this point, I had become the director of patient care at our hospital because I could no longer be a nursing supervisor because I couldn't work on the floor anymore. So I had applied for a promotion and got it. And I started high dose IVIG treatment, and I did that for a couple of years until I failed it. And once I failed it, I started on rituximab, which is a monoclonal antibody chemotherapy treatment. And I was on that for like the last 2 years of the last 5 years. That made a lot of sense. Anyway, so the rituximab destroyed my immune system, and I was walking with a cane, which is right back there still in the corner. I can never figure out how to point to it. I was walking with a cane, and I was pretty much done. I hit my end and I wanted to die. Like, I told my husband, our youngest was graduating from high school, and I was like, I'm done. Like, truly done. I can't do this anymore. Chronic pain. I don't think that I ever completely understood chronic pain until I had chronic pain, and it was awful. And I would lay in bed crying at night, and there was no way to control it, and there was nothing I could do. So I think I was on number 5 or number 6 round of COVID. Last spring, my son went to boot camp in January, and we went at the end of February to watch his graduation in Texas, and we flew from Hawaii. And I came home with COVID, which is no big deal because I have, it is what it is. I always came home sick, no matter where we went. Always came home sick because I didn't have an immune system. So that was kind of what brought me to the lowest point of the disease. And I just was done. And my wonderful husband had been bugging me he goes down some rabbit holes. I love him, but he's a prepper and a rabbit hole person. And he had gone down a rabbit hole one day about carnivore, and him and both my oldest son had been talking to me, like telling me, like, just look at it. You never know what could happen. So finally, as I'm laying on the couch dying of COVID, I went ahead and watched some carnivore videos, and that was it. That was the beginning of March last year, and we waited for a couple weeks until we got rid of some food, and then started carnivore on March 20th of 24.
So let me clarify. It wasn't that I had gone down any rabbit holes. It was that I had wanted to lose weight. And I had questioned her about Ozempic. And she said, I really would rather that you didn't have to take any drugs to lose weight. Why don't you just see what else is out there? What other alternatives that you can find? And that was what got me started with seeing carnivore. I don't even remember who it was that I saw, but it was just the fact that it's a fringe benefit of doing carnivore was that you lose weight, and that was my reasoning behind bringing it to Renee's attention.
And you always said
that I am a predator. I am a carnivore. My eyes are at the front of my head so I can follow my prey. I have incisors so I can eat flesh, tear flesh. I am not a vegetarian. My eyes aren't at the side of my head. I don't have flat teeth. All of my teeth aren't broad and flat to crunch vegetable matter. So, there it is.
So I was very grateful that the day that I was watching videos that I came across Carrie Mann, who I will forever be grateful for. My heart, Carrie. And his enthusiasm and what transpired from his, what he had done so far. And then I found Michaela Peterson, and if Michaela Peterson can heal an autoimmune disease, then there's no reason I can't. I started seeing these possibilities. Dr. Chafee and Dr. Baker and Dr. Berry and Dr. Kiltz. I mean, these men became my medical team, and they didn't know that they were my doctors from afar. And unfortunately, before we started Carnivore, I had decided that I needed to retire medically because I just couldn't work anymore. And so I had applied for retirement in February. We had decided somewhere around the time that we went carnivore, or actually before we went carnivore, that we were going to move to the mainland. So we started working on selling our house and getting things ready in Hawaii to leave and looking for houses. And so we were doing all of this, and having our last kid graduate high school, like all happened within months of each other. So we ended up the first 60 days I did pretty much lion with a little bit of butter in there, but for the most part it was just beef, water, salt. Got rid of everything else. And it was within 3 weeks that my pain was controlled for the first time in 5 years. And it just kept getting better, and my depression got better, and my anxiety got better, and pain, I was walking better. I stopped using my cane in September. So we started in March. So by September, I was not using my cane. Well, actually, it was more like the beginning of October. But I stopped using my cane. I was able to stand up on my own without feeling like I was going to fall over. And the weakness on my left side had gone down drastically. So in August, we sent our kid to college. And we closed on our house in Hawaii at the end of August, closed on our house in Arizona at the beginning of September, and the end of September, we took the move back to the mainland from Hawaii. So we've been here now 6 months. Yep, 6 months. And just the changes that we've had in the past 6 months, even. No. You guys are all being very noisy. All of the dogs have decided they're going to be in here with us. So anyway, I've gotten to a point though where I didn't think that I would ever get. And, I gave away so much stuff. When I finally was able to accept the fact that I was sick, I gave away there's some stupid stuff. I gave away like all of my hair care products because I had shaved my head and decided I was never going to be able to have hair again because I didn't have the strength to blow dry it and the strength to take care of it. I had gotten rid of all of my weights and I had a full home gym, and I got rid of everything because I decided that there was no way I was ever going to work out again. So unfortunately right now I am replacing hair products, because I am for the first time in years growing my hair out, and I had to buy new weights. Like these are things that I never thought I was going to be able to do again. And here I am looking at, I don't know, it'll take years for me to get back everything. And I don't want anybody out there, especially people with CIDP, to think that it was like that and I'm like all of a sudden better. I've got years of healing to do. I've got occupational therapy and I've got physical therapy. I'm just now being able to start doing repetitive fine motor skills with my hands, and it's really not that great still. There's days that I still want to cry because of the pain. But overall, it's way better. When we first went on Carnivore, I was taking duloxetine, nortriptyline, and gabapentin. My gabapentin dose was 3,600 milligrams a day. And if anybody that takes gabapentin knows, that's a massive dose. That's the highest that an adult can take. And I am proud to say that as of Thursday, so a couple days ago, I dropped my last dose and I'm down to 300 milligrams once a day from 3,600 milligrams a day. I don't take duloxetine anymore. I don't take nortriptyline anymore. All I really take is magnesium, vitamin D with K2, and fish oil, and Oh yeah, my thyroid stopped working recently. Not quite sure what happened. Whether my disease was overshadowing it, and I've been, skirting this hypothyroid for a while. But anyway, I just started on natural desiccated thyroid. So hopefully that will get my thyroid under control. I started gaining weight back in November, October, November, where my clothes didn't fit. And so I've been struggling to try to get that weight back off. And hopefully the thyroid will get under control in the next few months and the weight will start to come back off. In the meantime, I had the great pleasure of being able to ask Dr. Eid a question about it because, like, my depression and anxiety have been a little bit off lately. And I mean, off meaning they were gone and now they're a little bit back. And I don't want to go back on meds. And the one thing that she suggested was getting rid of dairy. My ketones are always like 2.5 to 3.6. So I stay in ketosis all the time. But she thinks that maybe getting rid of the heavy whipping cream that I have in my coffee would help a lot. And so I am weaning off of coffee right now. I'm going to I know all those people out there that I said I'm never going to get rid of my coffee. I'm going to let coffee go again and we're going to see what happens. But the one thing that we have discovered is it's kind of this whole lifestyle and changing everything about what you do is a marathon, not a sprint. Like, this is long. We're looking at the longevity of our life. We're not looking at like what can we like fast, because it's not going to be fast.
No.
It took us years to destroy our bodies, and years of eating the American Standard Diet and everything else that I made us eat. So it's going to take a while to get there. But if I have to compare where I was a year ago to where I am today, there is absolutely, I would say that I'm like 60%
Yeah, there's no
better.
comparison.
Like, I mean, it's amazing.
It's night and day.
And so, I mean, I know a lot of people do this way of eating and this lifestyle to lose weight. And that's great because it does great. I mean, I did Atkins back in the early 2000s even before I finished nursing school, while I was in nursing school, and had great results and felt great. If I could have figured out in my brain while I was going through all these other diets to go back and try that one again, because that's probably the best I ever felt. And so, I mean, we're really not much different than that right now. Just kind of it's kind of like, Atkins on steroids.
Right.
Because there's no vegetables or anything. And that's one thing that a lot of people ask, well, don't you miss eating vegetables and fruit? I'm going to tell you the truth. I ate a salad every single day for lunch for like the last 20 years. I don't even know. Forever. I mean, I grew my own vegetables in my yard. And I ate like kale and Swiss chard salads, and I thought I was doing amazing for my body and stuff. And I do not miss vegetables at all. For somebody who thought that I loved them, yeah, I decided that I never really loved them. I don't miss them.
So, things that I miss. Now, I've had people ask me, well, don't you miss this or don't you miss that? Well, of course you do. But I've found that it's, for me, the biggest one's sugar. Yeah, I'm an addict. I always had sugar in my coffee. When I made teriyaki sauce for my meat, it was sugar, garlic, soy sauce, and ginger. Things like that. Bread. I'm huge. Renee makes such an amazing sourdough bread. Yeah, I miss that. But it's not like cigarettes. I was a smoker for 40 years. I miss smoking every single day. It's always there. It gets bad in waves. As long as I can hold out for the duration of the wave, I'm fine. The foods that I miss, I guess, are very similar to that, except the waves are a lot faster. They don't last 5 minutes. They only last 2 minutes or 1 minute. I'll I'll walk past and I'll see somebody eating a sandwich, and it's like, wow, that sandwich looks really good. I'd love to eat a piece of bread, and then it's gone. And the time it takes me for that thought to be completed, it's gone. So yes, you will still have things that you miss or cravings, but it's nothing detrimental. It's nothing that you can't get through.
And for me, I don't think that
Yeah, you really don't.
I mean, okay, every once in a while I think about like a piece of pizza or something, but in
Right.
all honesty, I never had any inclination to cheat. I mean, I did have a piece of cake once at my son's graduation party about 2 months into carnivore, and it made me sick. And I was like, nope, no more. It wasn't worth it.
Shh, quiet.
But I didn't. Katie wants to say hi. I didn't cheat like it wasn't like a spur of the moment thing. Like I made that decision that I was going to have it. And but for the most part, I've looked at this like I've had to change the way I look at food, and food is my medicine now. Meat is my medicine. The dog chewed up a dog toy. And it's how I nourish my body, and it's how I'm going to heal myself. So I don't look at food the same. And okay, I'm going to be completely honest. We'll just put this out there. I'm the person that can eat the same thing every single day, like it was chicken every single day for.
I ate so much chicken, I told her we had to stop because I was starting to turn into a chicken. It was bad. Quiet.
So doing carnivore, and I've always been that person too. I used to tell him that sometimes I wish I didn't have to eat. That I'd like to just take a pill that would give me all my nutrients for the day. So, this to me, it wasn't that big of a deal. We eat mostly ribeyes and tri-tip and ground beef, and I'm okay with that. So, one of the other questions that we have been asked a lot is, what is the hardest part about eating this way? That's your question.
What's the hardest part about eating this way? I don't know. I don't find it difficult at all.
I'll tell you what my hardest part is. My hardest part is...
Her hardest part is cleaning up the kitchen after grease
stop it.
splatters everywhere.
No, that's not my hardest part. My hardest part is unknowing what I know now. I think that that's the hardest thing. Like once you're open to the idea of a different way of eating, and then I started reading books, and I just finished The Big Fat Surprise, and also Dr. Ead's book, Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind. You start reading these, and then you find out that we've been lied to for a gazillion years, and that it's all about money, and once you go down those rabbit holes, you just can't come back out of them.
You can't unring the bell.
Right. And so it makes me really sad. As a nurse, I was never going, when I worked in trauma, of course we could heal people because we heal people from trauma. But when I was regular nursing and we were treating a lot of chronic illnesses and metabolic diseases, I realized now that we were never going to heal people because we were not teaching them what they needed to know. And we were not teaching the right diet, and we weren't taught the right diet. As a nurse, I had no idea. So I guess that's one thing. I will never be able to go back to regular medicine. I can't be a nurse in a hospital anymore because I don't believe that we're doing the right thing for our patients. And we should be healing our patients, not letting them be a revolving door in and out, because we're not teaching them how to get well. So I am 1 month away from finishing my nurse coaching program that I'm in, and I get set for my boards and become a board certified nurse coach. And I'm doing a keto certification as well. I don't know where the future is going to take me for sure, but I would really like to devote my life actually healing people. I went off on a tangent there because we were supposed to be talking about the hardest part of carnivore. a lot of people talk about socializing. We're not social creatures, the two of us, anyway. So we stay home a lot with our dogs, and we bought 10 acres out in the middle of
Nowhere.
Arizona, and we have a lot to keep ourselves busy here. But when we do have to socialize, we try to find some place that we can eat that we know is going to be okay for us, and if we can't, then we eat before we go. What we've discovered, like for potlucks, is take our own, make a couple of tri-tips or something and take them with us, and then that way we know that there's going to at least be red meat there. So I would say overall, it's really not been that big of a deal. When we have hosted quite a few family members, we had the holidays here. I still bake sourdough bread because if my kids are going to come home or we're going to have family come over and they're going to eat it anyway, I'd rather them eat something that I know only has 3 ingredients, 4 ingredients, than a bunch of ingredients. And I mean, other than that, you know, we have a little bit of rice in the house. We have some things for people who come visit that really don't want to eat just meat because we're not going to push this on people. Um, but at the same time, we all both believe that we should share this with the world,
Yes.
because it has made a substantial change in our lives, and we want everybody to be able to have that opportunity to find their best that they can be.
Question everything. Question your doctors. Question your friends. Question people that you know in the medical field. Do your own research. The amount of information that's out there is amazing, both ways. So you have to draw your own conclusions. I know where I stand with mine.
You have some of the most brilliant doctors and scientists out there giving this information away for free on their YouTube channels, on their Instagrams, um, just making sure that the word is out there. We were lied to. Sugar is bad. Flour is bad. Meat is good. Saturated fat is good. Um,
And like Dr. Chafee says, plants are trying to kill you.
right. So I would say that the past year has been an amazing year. I got way more healing. Like, I just thought that maybe I could get some pain under control. I had no idea that at the end of December, I went in and had a repeat EMG, which is an EMG. I've just lost it out of my head. Um, anyway, they used both electrodes and needles and stuck them into my muscles and stuck them into my nerves to make sure that the conductivity of my nerves was good. Electromyography. There it is. Um, and it came back normal. And then they tested my antibodies and they came back negative. And so I am in remission from my disease, which, I mean,
Yeah,
who would
that
have
was that
ever.
was never anything we even anticipated.
Right. So, I mean, in theory, in the next couple of years, I could probably regain enough use in my arms and my legs that I could maybe go back to bedside nursing if I wanted to. I don't, but I could. And that's really nice to know that I have options. Um, and I'm trying to think. There was something else that I wanted to touch on, but I do not recall
I don't know.
because I didn't want to write anything down because I wanted this to be organic. And here I am now trying
Wishing
to
wishing that you wrote it down.
trying to remember
I hate to
what
be the
it
one to say I told you so, but
what it was. All right, we talked about our health benefits, and we talked about were there any other struggles? I don't think we've had any other struggles. I mean, every once in a while, I get tired of beef and I fast, or I do a fat fast.
or I do sausage and egg drop soup.
Yeah, I mean, so
We try and find different things to do instead of ribeyes or tri-tip, just to change things up. And that's not difficult. And as far as going out, I was very pleased that most of the people don't look at you like you have two heads when you say, I don't eat anything else but meat. So
oh, but they sure like to argue with you. Are you sure you don't want your sides? Are
yeah,
you sure you don't want your sides?
they're trying to give us what we want for the money, but it's hard, because we still pay full price. If you order say a ribeye dinner that usually comes with a vegetable and a mashed baked potato, and you say no, I just want the steak, they're like, well, that's not enough for you to eat. Okay, so instead of having a baked potato and the vegetable, give me a salad. Well, what do you want in your salad? Just the egg and the bacon. Leave out the lettuce, tomato, and onion and cucumber. Give me just hard-boiled egg and bacon, and that'd be good.
Now,
And I throw butter in it, and there it is.
the only
And
place that we can find that, though, is Texas Roadhouse.
that is Texas Roadhouse. I'm going to give them a plug for any carnivores looking for someplace to eat. That's our go-to.
Right, but for the most part, though, even when you go out to eat, you don't know for sure what you're being exposed to as far as seed oils and as far as, I mean, even dry rubs having seed oil in them. So you don't
Right.
know all of that for sure. So we try really hard to not eat out. We just eat at home mostly. I carry carnivore bars with me in my purse and meat sticks, and we have meat sticks in the glove box, and so we have our emergency stashes of food. But for the most part, we don't really. I mean, eating out, you pay a lot of money for something that we can do at home. The one thing I would say, one of the biggest lessons I learned this past year is that we're never going to buy a cow again. We discovered that I discovered that I don't like most of I am not a big fan of stew, and I'm not a big fan of roasts. And a lot of our cow was stew meat and roast. And so we will not buy a half a cow again. But we have discovered like Costco Business Center is a great place to go get primal cuts of tri-tip and the tri-tip's not primal cuts, it's primal, they're bagged.
It's a cryovac. It's the plastic that it comes in, but it's got like 6 or 7 tri-tips.
And that's cheaper by the pound. And then we buy our ribeyes at the Costco Business Center. So we have to drive up to Phoenix, which is 3 hours away to do that. But we take our big cooler and we go shopping. I will say that we'll probably continue to do it that way. Get our ground beef from the butcher. But other than that, that was a big aha moment for me, because people talk about how much they love buying their cows, and I discovered that I don't like enough of the meat. And
I don't have that problem. I like all meat.
I'm trying to think of what else.
I think that was it.
That was it. We've only been talking for 38 minutes. I can do this for hours.
You don't want to be talking about nothing until you figure out what it was that you wanted to say.
See, this is why I need to learn how to edit. And it's not that I don't know how to edit. It's just that I feel like life is messy and we're messy, and we'll just give you what we are. So the past year, I'm going to try to put in some before and after pictures when I edit this, so you can see where we were to where we are now. For me, myself, there's not a whole lot of change physically because you can't see my disease. My husband here, however, has dropped about 50 pounds, so you can definitely see a difference in him. My skin, like just talking about some of the things that you don't even think about. My skin, I have a zit right now. But for the most part, I went from having pretty zitty skin almost all the time to like having clear skin 99% of the time. It's just things that you don't realize. Some TMI. I have always had some constipation, and I don't have any issues with constipation. I had bad hemorrhoid issues. I have not complained about. Have you ever noticed that? I haven't complained about my hemorrhoids for a year. I mean, it's things that you don't even think about. My fingernails grow too fast, and I'm having to cut them all the time. Hair grows faster. What else? Have you noticed anything else? Oh, we went hiking the other day, and I was wearing a tank top and didn't have any sunscreen on, and I did not burn, which would have never happened. And so, I mean, I got a little bit red. By the next day, it was all gone, and it was back. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even like nothing hurt. Even it wasn't a burn. It just got a little bit red. I mean, there's lots of things like that.
Yep.
I just feel like our bodies are so much happier now. Sleep is better. I mean, for the most part, sleep is better for me.
Yep.
For you get better sleep than you used to. What about your CPAP?
Oh, yeah, I'm not on CPAP any longer. That's a big one.
And I feel like there was another change for you too, and I don't remember. Anyway, the thing is that we could sit here and we could probably spend the next hour going through lists of everything that's changed in our lives that have gotten better. But the truth is that I don't think that I could ever look back. And I do really like, it was in a podcast that we heard Candy Frazier from Primal Bod say that her and her husband live an 80-20 life. 80% of their life is clean carnivore and 20% they live. And I would like to think that one day when I get healthy again, like to the point where I am 100% back to where I was before I got sick, that maybe I'll have a chance to every once in a while be able to have something if I want it. We've got kids that are going to be getting married. No, not anytime soon, Gabe and Elijah. But I mean, they will be getting married one day, and there'll be things that we want to do and stuff. And so I'd like to believe that one day we'll be able to get to where we can find a very happy place where we still have a little bit of life outside of carnivore, but not a whole lot. Because I can't imagine ever going back. I can't imagine feeling the way I used to.
No.
And I don't think that we want to. So, in the past year, I have been very blessed to form relationships with Carrie Mann, Adam Lacey, and Lynn from Healing Humanity. And I have interviewed with some amazing people. I've become friends with Bella, Steak and Butter Gal, and I am very blessed with the people that have come into our lives. It's awesome. We went to a meetup in January and met our first real life carnivores, and it was absolutely amazing. I can't wait to be able to help others and work with other people who have neurological autoimmune diseases. And I mean, there is hope and people can get better. I had no idea how much better it could get. So I feel like we should have been like doing this video while we were walking so we could show that there's a lot more to us now than just sitting in front of a computer. But this is what we did. Do you have anything else you want to say?
I don't have an answer for that.
Like I said, question everything and be kind to yourself. If you have a bad day and you slip back into an old habit, just keep moving forwards. Acknowledge it, deal with it, whatever it was that threw you off, and move on.
Give yourself some grace.
Yes, be kind to yourself. That's all I have.
And my biggest thing I learned over the last year was community. Surrounding yourself by like-minded people. I'm very grateful to be a part of the Healing Humanity Life community. And I think that when you surround yourself with people who have the same thoughts and are doing the same things that you're doing, it helps. And to have that support. And the one really great thing about community, I'm going to plug it right here, is that every week we get an expert and we get to ask questions. And I have been able to ask Dr. Bright questions, and I've been able to ask Dr. Eid questions. I've been able to ask Dr. Baker, Dr. Chafee, all these amazing doctors, Dr. Barry. I've been able to ask them all questions because of community. So I always recommend to people, especially when you're first starting carnivore, belong to a community for a few months. And you may decide that you want to always be a part of that community, or just or just a little bit. And people, the information is out there on YouTube, the information is out there on Instagram. People will put their stuff out there, and it's free. So, I read a ton of books and I watch a ton of YouTube videos. I never thought I'd spend so much time on YouTube. And like I said, I have read some amazing books this year that really do a great job of teaching and talking about the carnivore world and how we ended up where we are today with the American Standard Diet. So I am grateful, and we are completely blessed at where we're at now with our life, and definitely aren't going to go backwards. Anything else? You done?
That's it.
All right. It definitely will not be another year before you hear from me. I know that YouTube videos have been coming out really slowly, but I've got school, and for some reason everybody in our family decided to visit us in the months of March and April.
And May.
So things just go a little slow. But we appreciate you all and love you, and hope that this may be a little bit inspiring for someone. And we will talk to you all soon. Bye.
Aloha.